Greetings, happy digging, allotment based capers. Welcome to Polytunnel builds and lots of jobs I need to do to maintain the plots. Okie dokie, bokies. Job number one, we'll call it. Large semi-raised bed I made this year. Add my onions in it. Got to give it a good old weed. I'm going to give it a good old mulch with partially rotted horse manure. And then I'm going to cover the bed over. Yeah, I think next year I'll have some squashes grown in it. Nice. Job number two, apart from a bit of a clear up, got these barrels. They need to be plumbed in to help me capture more water. So here's a job I can do now. Carefully not so carefully remove what was one of this year's rather disappointing crops despite my best efforts. These are my broad beans. I have actually got about a dozen, well, I've got several bean pods at home drying out. Hopefully they will provide me enough beans to germinate so I can attempt a crop again next year. So broad beans are something that I've grown easily in the past. And I don't know if it's weather conditions, everybody's saying that this year, but I'll say it anyhow. I don't think the weather conditions helped, and what certainly didn't help is that pesky badger. The weather gave rise to conditions favourable to black fly aphid, which I kind of got on top of that, and then before I knew it, the pods had been eaten on the plant by that flipping badger. Yeah, anyhow, what I have got, oh, safety first. What I have got growing in the background here, which I'm quite confident will produce me a crop for Christmas. That was a flying slug. Parsnips. So I've grown any parsnips on plot before. I'm reasonably confident that I will have some homegrown parsnips for Christmas dinner this year. Happy digging. Obviously, one of the largest jobs I've got on the go at the minute is my polytunnel build. Yay! Yesterday I really struggled to get stuff done, so I've come back today. I've just put some temporary beams in here, so look, dimensions right now, this is 7 foot wide from the widest point, 10 foot long. It's almost square and level, so yeah, can you imagine? I'm struggling. Yeah, something like that. Happy digging. Something that really does need attention, which is job number 4. Newly acquired shed, newly acquired plot. This is the shed that's on it. A lovely sized structure. However, yeah, it really does require some TLC. Roof's fine, although the felting hasn't done the best job. There's no soffits or guttering to help protect this space here. Similar story in 3 or 4 places. I mean, the structure itself is fine, but if I don't put some investment in and time into repairs, it'll be good for the scrap pile. And here it is. I don't even know what variety that was. I think it was one of the Turk's turban ugly things. Sure, that's the name of the variety. It's not a bad size. I'll be a prize winner, and considering its fate is sealed to be decorated by the children for Halloween, yeah, probably best that it's not really a prize winner. Something that's really going to require some significant labour on my part is taking care of this large area here and the area off camera and the area behind camera in terms of maintaining and managing the new addition to my plot. Later in autumn, we're in autumn now, when things start dying back though in October, November, I will be covering over large sections with some of the sheeting and other weed suppressants, because one of the keys to managing a plot or taking over a new plot is don't bite off more than you can chew, because there's always more to do. So have a plan, get some small areas that are realistic, and the stuff that you just haven't got the time to take on, cover it over, stop the weeds growing, and concentrate on it once you've got the other things boxed off. Job number 7. Water storage, essential on our plot because we don't have any main supply, so all the water falls from the sky. I decant water from other water storage facilities on site into here via a long hose to keep it topped up. However, both of these, I've entered them because I'm hopeful the camera can pick up the sleepers, or the structure that's made out of sleepers that these things sit on. Das ist kaputt. I don't know if you've ever seen the opening sequence of Indiana Jones, but that's downhill, and that would be analogous of the large boulder that chases Indy and takes out my plot on its path. So I've got some large pieces of hardwood. At some point I'm gonna set about repairing this, essential repairs, and as I am the chair for this allotment association, largely jobs like that fall to Muggins here. A mixed bed here. I've discovered that this weave netting don't stop butterflies and caterpillars getting to your brassicas. In the background I've got some other dog-eared sprouts and some I've got some That's my kohlrabi there. Looks like a pumice stone, to be fair. I'm going to get rid of this netting because I don't think these sprouts are in much danger of any more caterpillars or butterflies, given the drop in temperature and the fact that it's autumn. I'm hoping now that these sprouts, I mean, I can see some fresh green unfettered leaves growing from the centre. Hopefully I'll have some sprouts on the Christmas dinner plate this year as well. Well, I've already lost count of what number job this is to do. Quite an important one. Again, maintaining the integrity of the pathways is a collective responsibility of all our allotment members. However, it's usually me who does it, and usually take me time as well. So we have a bit of a wobbly step. And we've got a broken flagstone there. This end of the pathway here is access to at least 3 plots. Yeah, 3 plots, so 3 other people have been walking up and down this just fine without any concerns. But if it goes wrong, it'll be my fault, blah, blah, blah. Anyhow, not to complain, I have some bricks, some flagstones, I've got some concrete, concrete and aggregate and sharp sand. There's another job for me to do. Happy digging. The older you get, the more grunting you do with any form of physical labour. A lot of grunting going on today, folks. And swearing. Lots of swearing. Off camera, of course. One of the jobs I'm responsible for, along with the rest of the committee on this plot, is making sure that people are showing evidence of cultivating crops and at the very least maintaining their plots. Sadly, this plot that we're looking at now has not been maintained or cultivated at all since the start of the growing season. So we operate sort of fiscal year, April the 1st to April the 1st. Very little evidence, in fact 0 evidence of any cultivation or maintaining the plot. So putting it off, I will be sending out a snotty letter with a 30-day notification to get it in ship shape or at least show evidence of it. I don't like sending out snotty letters, but I think people's ideas around having an allotment are a lot more romanticised than the practical requirements of actually maintaining a piece of land. People will be on our waiting list for a year, 18 months before a plot comes up, so people are very keen when I contact them. And it's very difficult to identify prior to somebody actually landing on the plot what are the significant characteristics that will benefit the plot, because not only have they got to maintain their own plot, we're completely self-sufficient, self-sustaining. We don't get any help from any outside sources. We have to maintain everything within the boundary fence, which is communal areas, the paths. So the understanding is that not only will you maintain your own plot, you'll also muck in appropriately to maintain the paths and other jobs, I don't know, water butts, wobbly steps. If you're not looking after your own plot, you're a detriment to other plot holders, because there is a knock-on effect from lack of maintenance. And I mean, look around it, maybe the camera's not picking it up, but there's a lot of bindweed, a lot of balsam. I think the top tip for anybody taking on a plot, and our plots are actually quite small, so a full-size plot, which this is actually one of our full-size plots, only actually equates to a half-size plot if you go by the standard UK Allotment Association metric for the surface area or the square footage of a plot. So yeah, a snotty letter in the post later on today. If you're watching, sort it out. Oh, squatty patati. Well, that is nasty. A gift. So another job for me is to invest in a wireless microphone with one of those little fluffy anti-wind covers. I'll be getting onto Temu for that. Hopefully the camera can pick up background. We're looking at over 3 other pots here, so I'm sat on my neighbour's pot. Right, Al. And 2 pots in the background. You can see at a glance they're really well maintained. Nothing too much out of place. No real weeds or overgrowing grass. I think the best advice I can give to anybody, not that I'm really in a position to be giving too much advice, if you've got an allotment plot or you want an allotment plot, you really must be prepared to make a weekly commitment to attending the plot, and I would say a bare minimum of 2 hours per week. At least 2 hours per week is required just to maintain the condition of the plot once you get it. If you acquire a plot which has been neglected, then you're going to need to put a significant amount of work in just to get it into a state that you can maintain it with a couple of hours a week commitment. And when I say 2 hours a week, I mean week in, week out. It really is a weekly effort on my behalf, come rain or shine, sleet, gale or snow, as some of my other videos may indicate. So even when it's throwing it down with rain, if you've got a greenhouse or a shed or any way of sheltering from the worst of the weather, there's always something you can do. And if you're not spending a couple of hours a week on plot, or you can't commit to that, is managing a plot a viable or realistic outcome that you can achieve and maintain? Who knows? I know, I've just told you, 2 hours a week minimum or out. Nice. I've not got a clue how many jobs I've got to do. List is never ending. Happy digging. Hopefully the camera can pick out, weirdly, that pane of glass is broken and requires repair, or it requires replacing. Oh look, I grew some moss. Thanks. So I've got to get my step ladder out. I've got to source a piece of glass to replace that with. I don't plan on spending any money. I do have some polycarbonate sheeting that I've found. However, I'm not its biggest fan. Fortunately, we do have in one of our communal areas, we have kind of like filtering area where if somebody wants to throw something in this skip, what they will do, if it's got any potential use to anybody, we kind of put it in a clearing area and people can sniff around, and if they want something they can just help themselves, and then eventually if nobody claims what is left in the clearing area, it finds its way into the skip. In our clearing area we've actually got a spare greenhouse frame and probably enough sheets of various sized glass to half glaze to think. I'm going to be looking for a piece of glass to fit these dimensions in the coming weeks. Happy digging. Okie dokie, folkies. Big jobs I've got to do over the coming weeks in preparation for next year. I've got no overwintering crops that I'm planning, really. In fact, none at all. My priority is getting these beds sort of mulched with some rotted wood chips, some good rotted or semi-rotted manure. Get these beds covered over, and then I can forget about them till springtime plantings. I haven't even thought about what I'm putting in these beds this year, although I did potatoes in here for the first time. Not the best results. Yes, this is one of my very, very productive courgette plants. I took the last couple of courgettes off this yesterday. This is going, and in terms of this bed I've got one pumpkin growing, which is actually that one there, so yeah, I'll get rid of this, leave the pumpkin and think about covering over my beds. Thus concludes another episode of Happy Digging, allotment based capers. This week's episode was brought to you by those chattering birds and a long whiny list of jobs that I will be procrastinating over, can't even say the word, procrastinating over the coming weeks. Stay tuned. Remember to like, comment and subscribe. I will catch you on the flip-flop. Happy digging.